All right, welcome back. It's been a couple of days since the last video, the wind video. So we've had a couple more days to playtest cards, look at deck lists, theorycraft, and stuff. So some of our opinions on some of these cards have maybe shifted around since the when we first put them on the slide deck. So um, I mean, it's still early, but uh, got a little bit more testing in. So let's go through the Earth cards now. Lead us off, Pat.
Sure. So we're starting off with a 4 CP Vossler EX. Um, and its ability is when Vossler ETBs, you can search for one Job King and add it to your hand. And when Vossler attacks, this turn, the cost to cast your next forward is reduced by 2, and it cannot become 0. And it starts off as an 8K.
Yeah. This card's great. I don't think anybody has broken it yet. Everything about it reads very well. The fact that it's a category 12 means it can be played off of Fran if we're still trying to make a wind earth Fran work. The amount of kings that it searches are pretty relevant, especially like even in his own color. There's 3 backups that search.
Mm-hmm.
Golka, the FFCC backup. There's 2 Golkas actually, and then the other one is Regis. So there's not a shortage of captains to search for them, and this is one of those forwards that you kind of like have to answer immediately because he just gets like incremental value every single turn. The fact that he has EX is I don't quite understand it, right? So just an EX draw card is pretty good. And one thing I hadn't thought about, but it's the cost required to cast your next forward is reduced by 2. If I'm not mistaken, that includes limit breaks, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
So that's potentially something pretty cool. We know that the Shantotto that we discussed was expensive, but if he makes her cost 2 less, right? You pay 2 for her, 5 for the other, then she's a lot more manageable in a turn where you're like just looking to wipe your opponent to reset the board or something like that. So this is a great card, actually.
Yeah. So this is one of those cards where I know I just mentioned that our opinions on cards have changed a little bit. I know we were kind of low on Matt before. My opinion on Matt has definitely increased since we talked about our limit break deck and or the limit break cards in our first video. And this is one of the reasons. Like 8K attack trigger, like it can be a little rough. First getting over stuff, like getting over even just like an Adea or something, right? But also, in like a mono earth deck, sometimes you want to be holding up your forwards as like a wall, and so being able to play Mat, give this +1K and Brave a little bit more reach, and then swing with it to reduce your next forward. I feel um, like I like this card more in Earth focused decks because I feel like the targets are better. This searches Leo, for example, right? So it's like either you're searching your backups, or you can search your Leo once you've set up your backups, right? I feel like the targets in my first thought was putting this in 4-color and we can search Tycoon off it. But like we're already playing Bosch for Claris, so I don't know. I thought this card was going to be more versatile than it is, but I think it's very solid in like mono earth more than anything. That's my opinion.
I'm waiting for Pat to tell us that it's a job captain.
So yeah, I'm. I haven't actually played around with this as much as I was excited to when I first read it, because of like some of the other cards in the set. But I did open one in pre-release, so
Nice.
No, not a full art, just a regular one. I wish, but yeah, I mean the Job Kings. I think I agree with you there, but I think it could also replace or like it'll be extra copies of the Bosch, right? Just like a good backup searcher in the multicolor decks. In mono earth, Actually, I haven't played enough Mono Earth to know how good it would be, but I'll trust Chris. I'll trust your judgment.
I also haven't played it in Mono Earth, but I just see it being better there because my problem with this card is you draw it mid game and you search like a Tycoon off of it, and if you still have any left, right? And yeah, it draws you a card, but then like you need to play this early for it to like keep getting value, right? Because you need to have forwards to cast, which means you still have to have cards left in your limit break deck for one, right? I like this card is very good when you play it, or like you play this like turn one and it searches a backup for you, right?
Yeah,
like turn one, then it's really good.
Yeah, and then so let's say you play turn one, you play a backup and search like a 5 CP forward, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you go this into Kolka, search a 5 CP forward. If your opponent doesn't deal with this, then next turn you're paying 3 for that 5 that you searched, right? Or if you search a cost 3, you're paying 1 for that forward that you search, and it puts you way ahead on curve. So it might not be as good as we're making it out to be, but I'm excited to try it. I actually we can play that forward, but I have a Mono Earth deck built, and I put 3 of them just to see what it feels like.
Yeah, I like all the text on this card, so I want it to be better than I've been seeing it basically. So
agreed.
All right, good to move on.
Yep.
All right, Carbuncle now.
Yep, so we have a 3 CP Carbuncle summon. The text reads, choose a character you control, dull it, and then until the end of turn, it cannot be broken and cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. And then it has the cycle rider of if the CP paid was all from backups, you also draw a card.
I think this is like one of the ones I like the most in this cycle. The fact I know people compare it to Titan a lot, and I think it's a fair but incomplete comparison. I think the fact that this protects any character from choosing as well is a significant amount of text for one more CP, right? We evaluate all these the same way, where it's very awkward to keep 3 backups up. Very, very awkward for the draw. But if you're considering, let's say that text wasn't there, you're getting a Titan that also prevents any character from being broken or chosen, and you're adding 1 CP to it. I think it's decent. I would be surprised if this isn't played somewhere. What do we want to protect in particular? I'm not sure, but I'd be keeping my eye out on this backup.
Yeah, my problem is that like it doesn't really affect the board, so it's like at least compared to like what we're like testing against, right? Like I feel like we really want our summons to be doing like really efficient removal in the like decks that are trying to counter like the aggro stuff, like the FF8, the Knights, right, that we're complaining about in our DMs. But like this dulls the forward, right? So I mean, obviously if it didn't dull, it would be stupid, but like it dulls the forward that you're protecting, so it has to be a forward that is like generating a shit ton of value for you, right? So like I would want to be using this to protect the obvious one is Rydia, but then it's like a 3 CP forward, right, instead of a 2 CP. But you know, you kind of use Mistdragon in a similar way, and even like Amaterasu. So I think like I could see myself playing this in RPP if that deck ever becomes relevant again. Or, you know, a very important value card like, you know, Refia, but I also don't see myself having the slots to fit into that deck either. I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, is this like the strongest type of protection summon that we've ever gotten?
Probably.
I think it is, right?
Yeah, there was another Carbuncle before that was also 3 CP in the early set, and let me look it up. It cancels a summon that targets a character.
Yeah,
so that's summons only.
Like this is just like the best protection summon we've ever had. So if we ever have a forward that we like have to keep on the board no matter what, I think we could run in an Earth deck. I think we could consider running this pretty heavily. I think if the forwards that you're protecting are just like mediocre, or if it's just like a vanilla body, like I never feel good casting this. So it has to be like something really important.
Yeah,
like maybe an Une or something.
I think last set this would have been great because we saw that with water monsters was a thing, and that deck didn't like kill most things. It tucked them or it bounced them.
Mm-hmm.
So having it like not being able to do all that would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the format right now, the beginning of a format is always really fast.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see opportunities for this card until someone comes up with like a good Earth.
Yeah. I could see myself running this in an Une deck, to be honest. Like even just threatening being able to recur it so that your opponent has to think before they target your Une with something, right? Like I think like those are like the three characters I'm thinking about the most when I'm evaluating like what is this protecting.
Yeah, I think Une is a good one, actually.
Yeah. All right, anything else?
No.
All right, next one.
All right, next up we have 4CP Kator Bashtar. When Kator Bashtar ETBs, choose a forward of power 4k or less in your break zone, play it onto the field, and its auto ability will not trigger. And it has an activated ability to put one backup into the break zone, to choose a forward, and it gains plus 2k power until end of the turn. And it starts off as an 8k.
All right, so I'm gonna open up Materia Hunter, and I'm just going to filter for 4CP or less, or sorry, for 4k or less. Whoops. Less and forward. So our main targets. Oh, is the. Okay, for some reason the Venat is like not marked correctly. So the main targets that we have are the twins, if I scroll down far enough, and Sophie, and I think also Orin as well.
Yep.
Those are the main targets that I'm looking at with this card.
Yep. I love this card. I think the effect is really cool. At first I was a little low on it, and yeah, twins. I don't know how good like both twins are gonna be in this set, but Porum always sort of finds his way into water decks, especially like water earth decks that used to be like Rydia. Maybe they'll move away from Rydia but still play like a control Chaos Arc deck. The fact that this can like toolbox back your Porum, like you say, those decks ran like one-off Oran, and they have to be very careful when they played that card. Now you can be a little more liberal with Oran because you just get him back with this guy, right? I mean, I wouldn't see it as more than like a one-off maybe in those decks, but like being able to toolbox, I think especially in Water Earth is where I see, in Mono Earth and Water Earth is where I see this guy being good. And Mono Earth, this gets back Leo and Suzuhiza, which are great. In Water Earth, this gets back, like you said, Oran, Porum, and then we can put like one of Sophie as like an alternate win con if we're running like also Une and Garnet. The fact that he solo gives he can solo buff Sophie to their 10k because the put one backup into the break zone is not a once per turn thing. He buffs her by himself, and then he can sack two backups if it's gonna win you the game. Is what I'm saying. I wouldn't underestimate that put one backup into the break zone buff something. Recycling backups, especially in decks like Mono Earth and Earth Water, where a lot of their backups are named and can't break, is like actually be relevant. Obviously, we think about Shantotto when we do that, but there's other options as well. I think this card is a win. It's very milquetoast in that sense, but there's some hidden power there, I think.
Yeah, it definitely didn't read to me like too well until I, started thinking about it more, basically. A couple cards actually that I didn't even realize that we could abuse. So Firion doesn't get his ETB Dole, but he's still, potentially a card. The other cards, though, that I'm really looking at are Tama. If that card, do you think we would play Tama at all off of this? Maybe it's a little slow, actually.
Yeah.
We can also get back Mog 6. the prevent a search one. We don't get the draw with it though.
Do we get the Mog that taps to draw?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. All right, now this card, I think there's some experimentation that can come out of this card. I don't like that.
We get Suzukiza. That was the other one.
Yeah, that's what I told you. Mono Earth Suzukiza.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Suzukiza. Which is kind of busted when you think about it. So
I was excited for Sophie. So I'm glad you brought that up. Emmanuel. The only problem is that Sophie has a one of. Like, how would we like it? It'd be hard to get her in the break zone.
We can't soldier for her anymore.
Yeah, that's I think an overall Sophie problem.
Yeah.
I think like if Monks ever comes back, they might want to run this as like a fourth Ursula for Sophie, something like that.
I mean, would it have any other targets though in Monks?
That's the problem I'm thinking of. But I think Sophie is so integral to make that deck even like slightly good.
Yeah.
That it might be a consideration.
It's unfortunate that like if this was 5 careless, we have so many things that we could choose with this.
No, that would be. I think that would be busted.
I know. But it's just like whenever I'm like looking at, oh wait, can we get this? Oh no, it's 5K. Damn. So.
Dude, this getting Rydia? No,
Rydia wouldn't get the counters.
It's fine. Just play something else. Get the counter. It's fine. Like it doesn't matter. Get it back.
That's pretty slow. I don't know. That's cope.
Yeah. All right. I'm good with that. I like this card.
Yeah. I think this card's we'll probably see a home somewhere. I have to imagine.
Yep.
All right. Guido?
All right. We have a 2 CP Guido. Guido cannot attack or block. At the end of each of your turns, put a knowledge counter on Guido. But if a character you controlled was put into the break zone this turn, it gets 3 counters instead. And it has an activated ability to remove 3 knowledge counters to draw 2 cards. And it is a 10K.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hear me out. This card is not going to be good until the very end of the set.
Oh, absolutely.
So the reason is because the exact deck that this is going into is the Mono Earth Monsters that's playing Go-Go Mandragora.
Go-Go Mandragora.
Because this is one of the most insane Go-Go targets in existence. And I think Mono Earth is like one of the only decks that's going to be enabling the 3 counters like every single turn.
Yes. So I love. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. These cards are bangers, actually. So I keep thinking that this is one of those. So they gave us a lot of these can't attack or block cards that gave counters, and all of them were like crap. And they're like, no, you're gonna play one of those. And this card is like overtuned as heck for what it does, like 10K. Like Fire sees this and it just cries, right? It's like, how do I kill this thing? Mm-hmm. The fact that if it said a forward, but a character,
any character.
And if you manage to say pass, you're gonna draw cards. I keep going back. I know I keep going back to Water Earth, but like if you think about Water Earth, you have Loporit as a backup that can sack itself, draw 2 cards, tuck 1, get this counters, draw 2 more. You have Poem that can blank this so it can block. This card's, there's no way this doesn't see play. There's no way.
The only reason this won't see play, especially at the start, is because you need you need to be playing a slow game. I think this is a fantastic slow game payoff, but the only thing that it's doing for you is drawing cards. It's not blocking, any of the things that FF8 is doing. and FF8's killing this with Cypher like on site.
Oh, absolutely. And
actually, any lightning tech, right, is killing it.
And Cloud too can kill this.
Yeah, but it's on their turn. You get your
you do get the 2 counters.
like,
but you have to enable it that early, and if you're enabling it that early, then you are sacking the characters that you need for either blocking the stuff that aggro is doing, or
I feel if I'm playing Mono Earth monsters, I will animate a zombie and swing. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Wait, actually, so how does that work actually with monsters that sack themselves at the end of turn?
I don't know.
So you can stack it so that the monster dies before this resolves, because it checks on resolution.
At the end of each of your turns, place if a character you controlled has been put.
So you put this on the stack first, then you can put like Blue Worm's break on the stack after that. So then Blue Worm will break first, and then when this resolves, it'll see that something broke.
Oh, it's busted, dude.
Interesting. Okay, I wasn't sure actually. I didn't think that the like Blue Worm sack would proc this, but
people are gonna like, I don't know, dude. Like Luminous Puma this back to hand play and sack Luminous Puma, get something else, 2 cards, right? Like, come on.
Like
man.
I think this will see play once aggro settles down.
Yeah, and thank God Sildra's banned because Sildra Surgeon.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna say that about every FF5 card for the next 5 sets.
Yeah, we need a generic FF5 searcher.
Yeah, speaking of which, yeah, we do need a generic FF5 backup searcher.
The card we talked about before this is also an enabler for this. You can sack a backup.
Oh yeah, Qatar. Oh, I was gonna mention that and then I forgot. Yeah, put it back up into the break zone. Yeah. We have Miner, Loperit, Animists, Qatar, like all of Mira. She can sack herself so you can play another Mira.
Oh my God. Sack Animus, get a monster, get a zombie, get Leo or something back.
Like there are decks that are going to enable this every turn. It's just a matter of, are those decks going to be good enough
can they live? Can they live to let them?
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I think this card will be good at the end of the set.
Okay, I agree with you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Moving on to other FF5 cards. Banger arts, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and
good.
we decided to put Enkidu here because it synergizes very well with Gilgamesh. So we have a 3 CP Gilgamesh. If you control 5 or more backups, Gilgamesh gains plus 2k power and cannot be broken by opposing summons or abilities. And when Gilgamesh ETBs or attacks, you may pay Earth 1 generic. When you do so, choose a forward or monster and break it. And it starts off as a 7k. And then we have Enkidu, a 3 CP wind card. When Enkidu enters the field, choose up to 3 backups and activate them. And when a card named Gilgamesh ETBs, you can pay 2 generic. When you do so, you can play Enkidu onto the field from your break zone, and it's also a 7k.
I love these.
Yeah,
I know. I've said it, but Gilgamesh in like, again, we're going to the theme of the set. It wants us to ramp to 5, basically. Giving us a CP sync in Earth focused decks is really good. The fact that Enkidu can basically makes his ability cheaper because you pay 2 but activate 3, right? So Gilgamesh, you can off of 5 backups, play Gilgamesh, pay 2, get Enkidu, like go all your backups, play Gilgamesh, get Enkidu, activate 3, and then Gilgamesh that same turn is really nice design. And Enkidu has another little thing going on for it. It's a warrior, right? I wouldn't be surprised if like Tyvus decks Tyvus decks that are like Farian focused run this as a one-off, so they can like basically Tyvus for free. You Tyvus off of 3 backups, get Enkidu, play him for free, untap your backup, play something else, or leave up like an Amaterasu or something. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Interesting card, great art, good design. I have nothing bad to say about these cards, except thank God Sildra's banned.
So these are like some of the most efficient forwards we got, right? Like in terms of just for like any deck that is reliably getting to 5 backups, or even 3, honestly. Like I'd play Gilgamesh and Enkidu off 3. Like you can tap your 5 back. Like if Enkidu's in the break zone, you tap your 3 backups, play Gilgamesh, tap 2 for Enkidu, Enkidu untaps the backups that you need to make Gilgamesh break. So for 5 mana, you've just played a 9k with protection, a 7k, and killed something.
Yep.
Like I think like either Earth Lightning, Chaos Arc, or like a Mono Earth deck. Like I think like any Earth based deck that's getting to 5 backups pretty reliably would and doesn't have efficient forwards, because I think like Mono Earth has, you know, once they get to 5 backups, you're playing Ingus for free, you're playing whatever, like you're playing Mounts. Like I don't know if it needs these, but like Earth Lightning doesn't really have like forwards this efficient, you know?
But even then, right? Like you go to 5, you Ingus, you Montleonis the Gilgamesh back. The Gilgamesh triggers the Enkidu. Like it's still really good.
True. Yeah.
So I have no complaints.
I just like we're talking about Seafer later, but like they both have an attack trigger that can destroy a creature, but this one you have to pay 3 for. It just feels bad seeing them both in the same set.
That is true. Yeah.
Like seeing how much more efficient Seafer is just makes me like sort of. I know the colors are different, right? The decks are different, but it just it's hard to, in a vacuum at least, before playing with the cards. Actually, it's hard to gauge this when the Seafer exists.
Yeah. And Seafer doesn't have protection though, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's huge.
But he is huge if you, He's like an 11
I will say, as a meme thing, and I showed this deck to Pat and Chris here, but like I've been trying to like make like Lightning Wind self mill work, and it's kind of cool that there's a Gilgamesh that's Cat 8, and you can like, you know, off of Cypher or whatever, get that Gilgamesh, pay it, remove some card from your break zone from the game, kill something Enkidu as well, and you self mill this Enkidu into your break zone, so you always have it available. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is actually like Wind Lightning, I think also. Yeah, like you were just saying.
Unexplored, I think.
For sure. One last thing before we move on. So obviously we got Yuri in our LB, but as soon as we get like the Leo for Wind, like Enkidu means that we get to play a Wind LB.
Yeah.
So we could theoretically play Chelinka actually off of the Yuri as well. I don't really know if that's any good, but
we're absolutely not doing that.
Yeah, but like once we get a good Wind LB, Enkidu says we can play that Wind LB in like Mono Earth or Earth Water. So
yep, I agree.
Yep. All right, moving on.
All right, next up we have a 2CP Prish. It is a job monk, and when Prish is chosen by summoner ability, it gets plus 2k power until end of turn. And when Prish deals damage to your opponent, choose a character in your break zone and add it to your hand. And it is a 5k.
Monks player are coming out of the woodworks like, oh, thank God we got a monk. Yeah, for monks, this is another Ursula target. They were missing those desperately because Ursula was only bringing back backups now that Sophie's restricted to 1. And the only complaint I've seen for some people is like, well, we were already running the 3CP Prish, but if you read that card, you can discard other Prishes to give an effect to that card. So you just run both, right? You discard this Prish to the 3CP Prish effect. And getting a 5k that doesn't die to Brynhilder, which is rare, and your opponent kind of like can't take damage from it because she's just going to keep increasing value. I think monk players are happy. I don't want to give you much more copium that like monks are good, but this is definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and I didn't actually. I like have never played against monks, and I've never played monks myself, so I didn't actually know that Prish had the text of if you discard a card named Prish.
Yeah, it's basically a more flexible S. It's an S that you can use any card for, but if you use Prish, it's even better.
Yeah,
I will say the developers love Prish because I don't think they've ever printed a Prish that's like bad. You know what I'm saying? They're all like average to really good. And at first, when I read this, it's like, whatever. And then I read Monk, and then I read, wait, she gets 2,000 power even if you target her. So like, there's like a Monk that buffs the thing by 2K, buffs this by 4K. Okay, sure. If fight effects, like, okay.
Yeah, and getting back a character too. Like,
it's huge.
That's
for two.
All this text is good except for card name Monk or card card job Monk.
Like, I bet someone at locals is gonna play this turn 1, and you're gonna be so sad. So sad. You're like, I can't kill this turn 1 efficiently. It costs
Dude, Victoria kills it anyways.
What?
Victoria kills it anyways. It just becomes a 7K.
No, well, okay, but like, let's say they have cards in hand. Come on, but like, even Cloud, like being forced to like Cloud turn 1 or give them that's not good.
True.
Right?
I'm probably not going to be clouding this. That is true.
But they get cards. It's so good. I'm kidding. It's good. It's a decent card.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? All right. Moving on to is it Balo?
No idea.
I'm gonna go with Balo. So we have a 3 CP Balo backup. When Balo enters the field, choose an Earth character in your break zone and add it to your hand, and it has an activated ability to tap it and sacrifice Balo. Choose a forward. It gains plus 2K power until end of turn.
All right, so I think the only reason that this is in here is because it's searchable off of Duke Goltana.
It's Duke Goltana searchable Earth backup. Unfortunate that it costs 3 and Duke Goltana costs 3.
Yep.
It's a knight, right? So there might be, I don't know if like Earth Knights are a thing. I don't think so. It's generically good forward. I mean, backup. It brings something back, even if you're in generic Earth. It also has like an okay stack ability. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this card for a common. Yeah, pretty good.
So would we run this over Reeve Vincent in Lightning Earth? I mean,
Reeve has the EX, so no.
That is true. Duke Goltana doesn't have EX, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Just one card.
Unless there's like, unless we're also running like Lightning Ramsa as another target that can like potentially draw us 3.
That's actually, I forgot about that, but I remember looking up like, oh right, we what Lightning Knights or Earth Lightning Knights can we play so that we can search off Duke Goltana, and that is one of them. Yeah, I think that card's actually good.
Yeah, so there might be a consideration there.
Mm-hmm. Like the one that's if you have a crystal, it gets the effects, right?
No, I'm thinking of the backup Ramsa. I'm thinking that Duke Goltana can also get you a backup Ramsa. The 5 CP reveal 3. So some of those Earth Lightning decks have enough density of summon forward backups that it's very possible that you draw 3. You're almost always drawing 2 off of that Ramsa. And you can potentially high roll into 3, and then that's like insane. But it is a possibility. If you're on crystals, obviously you have both options. That's pretty good too. If you're on like crystals.
I mean, we're on Rebel, right?
Yeah. If you're on Rebel, you can like put like 1 or 2 Ramsas in there. Yeah, actually, not a bad plan.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on?
No.
Nope.
All right, and the last set of cards we're going to talk about, and this is going to transition us into Lightning, is the Warriors of Darkness, this Earth Lightning package. Yeah, this is a wall of text. Sorry, Pat.
It's okay. I'm going to read the Noct first.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. So basically the cornerstone of the package is a 9 CP Noct. When Noct ETBs, you can search for up to 3 Job Warrior of Darkness with different names and add them all to your hand. And then at the beginning of the attack phase on each of your turns, you can play 1 Job Warrior of Darkness of cost 5 or less from your hand onto the field. It also has an S that costs S Earth Lightning. Choose a forward and break it, and it is a 9K. The second card is a 5 CP Glaive EX. Forward, it has Brave, and when Glaive is put from the field into the break zone, choose a Job Warrior Darkness other than Glaive in your break zone, add it to your hand, and then other Warriors of Darkness forwards get plus 1K power and Brave, and it is a 9K. Onto the lightning cards, we have a 3 CP Alba EX. When Alba ETBs due to an ability, choose a forward of cost 4 or less opponent controls and break it. And when Alba ETBs, choose a Job Warrior or Darkness forward. It gains haste until end of turn. And it is a 7K. And then finally, we have a 3 CP Diana. When Diana ETBs due to an ability, draw a card, and then you can dull one active Job Warrior Darkness to choose a forward and dull it. And it is a 7K.
All right, thank you, Pat. That was a lot.
That was pretty quick. I like that. Jesus. This is like a small enough package that it's not like its own deck. It goes into other things. What those things look like, I don't know, but it's really hard to talk about this not because we also have to consider the other Warriors of Darkness that we've had in the past, right? Especially when it comes to Glaive and it comes to Diana. I think if you're running this not, you're always running this Alba. That Alba is insane.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be like, that's a great EX, right? Just choose a forward, cost 4, let's break it. That's Odin levels of good. So I think you always run this Alba. Mm-hmm. Diana, we have a backup Diana that searches 1 cost, right?
Yeah, forward of cost 1. Yep.
Yeah.
With an EX.
So with an EX, so if you can use Noct as like a pseudo ramp to get you into like, I don't know, Furion? I don't know.
I've seen people this is kind of a meme, but you go Diana for Spiritus, and Spiritus gets whatever dark card you need, or Materia for whatever light card you need.
Yeah, that's kind of cute.
You can go Spiritus for Neo Death.
That's actually kind of cool. Glaive, I don't know, man. Like the fact that he's EX, and the fact that when he dies is kind of weird. There's another Glaive that searches Diana on EX, and also I think buffs your stuff. So I think like there you have to kind of choose which one you want to go for. At the end of the day, Noct is a 9 CP hyper efficient forward. Mm-hmm. And it's like very coin flippy in the sense if your opponent's playing fire, I think you're super scared to play this card. If not, then it's just like value town, right? If this gets like Amaterasu, you lose. If he doesn't, it's like I'm just gonna like keep getting insane value every turn. But like I said, it's not like its own deck. It's a package. Mm-hmm. Like even if you run 3 of each of these, right? You're running 12 cards. You have to fill your deck with something else. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, something that's not immediately obvious from these 4 cards is that these are the only 4 names of Warrior of Darkness in the whole game.
Yep.
All the other Warriors of Darkness are other versions of these characters. So the biggest package for Warrior of Darkness is going to top out at 12 cards.
Well, he does have a special. So I've seen somebody play, and I don't know how good this is. I've only seen it once, but I've seen somebody play the 6 CP Noct that says when he, or wait, which Noct is it? The one that when he's put from the field, it's 5 CP. It's the Opus 12 one. When it's put from the field into the break zone, you can play a Job Warrior of Darkness from your hand onto the field, which plays the 9 CP Noct.
Wait.
And the thing is,
he does?
Yep. This Noct also can search the other Nocts for his special.
Oh man, I gotta go.
So okay, so the main issue that I've heard, I haven't tried the card at all. I've only played against it. The main issue that I've heard people complain about is that if you don't like find Noct, the deck sucks. Like you're not paying full cost for like any of these fucking cards, right? Like Noct is the only card that you want to be paying the full 9 CP for. So if you can't find him, like your deck has to be doing something else really good.
Sorry, but if you can't find a 9 CP Earth forward in Earth, like it's a skill issue. There's a billion cards that search this. So please.
What do searches? So obviously the Kolka Gabrand. What else?
Tyro, Gabrand. Let's see. So I just mentioned 3.
Okay. I feel like Tyro's like Cope though. I don't want to play Tyro in Earth Lightning.
Absolutely play it.
No. That card's not good outside of
your favorite card finds this, Sarah FFL.
Fine. You play Vossler and you play Kolka. Vossler searches Kolka and makes this cheaper. That's it. You're done.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, never mind. You convinced me.
Imagine going Vossler Kolka turn 1, and it's like if I attack, I'm gonna pay 7 for this.
Wait, do we have the CP for that? 1, 2, 3. Search the Kolka and then play it. 1, 2.
You have 4 cards.
Oh yeah. Wait, if you're going first?
Yeah. 2 for Vossler gets you Kolka. So you have
2 for Kolka.
Yeah, so
2, and then you draw 2. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. This man's building right now.
Yeah, you're right. I am. Yeah, I mean, anything else to talk about Warriors of Darkness? I feel like we only kind of touched on them, but
because I don't think anybody's like broken them yet, and it's gonna take a while. And choosing the Diana, I think if your deck is like really Warriors of Darkness focused, this is the correct Diana, because we've seen that the dull something is really good, like Dancers and Noctis, all that stuff. But if you're more as a support package, it might be the fact that the backup one is good, or even like the old one that gets you a Warrior of Darkness back to your hand. If you're focusing on like the Noct special, I think the old one is better because it brings a Warrior of Darkness back to your hand when she enters play. So it might be that's where the considerations are. Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Could be good. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Earth and Lightning aren't really wanting for effects to bring forwards back to your hand anyway. So there's a lot of ways in those colors for recursion. So
yeah, I wish he would have for 2 and for that S. I wish he would have broken monsters too. I don't know.
I'm the Final Thrust.
Yeah, because it's like it's expensive.
Yeah, 2 colors.
Yeah, I don't know. He should have broken monsters. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for Earth. And like I said, we're transitioning into Lightning now. So see you in the Lightning video.